Previously, we saw that in a drunken haze, Kobayashi has her life turned upside down after Toru, a man-eating dragon, agrees to be her maid, even though she lacks the necessary skill. However, things get even more complicated after Toru reveals her feelings for Kobayashi. While she tries to adjust to her new life, Kana, a teenage dragon, banned from her world, decides to live with her. Will the three of them get along, or will Miss Kobayashi go back on her promise as she tries to cope with her new crazy life? Let's find out. In their new house, Kana watches a group of students walk to school every morning. Kobayashi finally notices and wonders if Kana wants to go to school with the other kids. She talks to Toru about it, but Toru misunderstands and believes Kana wants to destroy the world as it is part of the dragon's tradition. Can't say I blame her. I would have picked world domination too. Unsatisfied with Toru's answer, Kobayashi decides to ask Kana if she would like to go to school, and this makes her happy. That is why she is a dragon. No sane human would be happy. Shortly after, Kobayashi and the girls go to the stationery store to get all the necessary materials for Kana to start school, even though Toru believes the materials are not necessary, as it is all a conspiracy between the school and the stationery stores. Kobayashi finds out that Toru has been reading conspiracy theories on the internet, and she is surprised that a dragon would fall for such stories. They soon arrive at the store, and Kobayashi gets all the required items. However, Kana is sad, as she doesn't like them, and she states that they are not good enough. Toru attempts to fix the problem by getting her materials used in a school back in their world, but this only makes Kana even more unhappy. They head over to a fancy stationery store, and Kana is finally happy. She finds a lot of fancy items for school, but she does not understand how they work, and Kobayashi helps her out. After getting all the items needed, Kobayashi decides to enter the supermarket, which Toru dreads, to get a backpack, which is also on the list. Although Toru is reluctant at first to go in, she finally overcomes her fears after deducing that Kana will be all alone with Kobayashi, and this makes her jealous. Kana picks a backpack and a fancy keychain, but she decides to return the keychain after discovering that Kobayashi doesn't have enough money. Just as she is about to return it, Kobayashi sees her, but pretends not to as she pays for the backpack. Finally, they head over to the school store to pick out a school uniform for Kana. Toru wonders why all the students have to wear the same outfit, and she finds out that this is done by the school to prevent disparity. But I guess we all know the real reason. Toru doesn't agree with the system, and Kobayashi agrees with her, stating that people are just scared of being special. She also reveals that humans choose to eliminate anyone different as they are not as accepting of others as the dragons. While they talk, she notices that Kana is sad because of her revelation, and Kobayashi apologizes, but she needed to know the truth. The world is a cruel place. After getting all the items on the list, the girls head home, and Kana is excited to go to school. Back at home, Kana tries out her new uniform, and Kobayashi compliments her outfit, which makes Toru jealous. She decides to put on the same outfit, but she gets chastised by Kobayashi instead. Kana is overly excited to start school the next day, and she decides to sleep wearing her backpack, which makes Kobayashi smile. The next morning, Kana learns how to write, but Kobayashi tells her to take a break after discovering that she is learning how to write from false ad magazines. But there is no better place to learn. It is the first day of school, and Kana is introduced to the rest of her class. While Toru spies on her to keep an eye on her, Kana excels on her first day, and she makes lots of friends because of how strong and unique she is, which is kind of unfair because most people called me weird. Anyway, this does not sit well with Saikawa Riko, the class diva, and she challenges Kana to prove that she is better than her. Kana starts to cry, which makes Riko feel bad, and she apologizes to her. Emotional blackmail works every time, kids, and don't you forget that. Riko agrees to be friends with Kana and shares her candy with her, even though it is against the school rules to bring candy to class. But some would say rules are meant to be broken. After school, Toru asks Kana why she wants to be in school, despite being superior and stronger than the rest of the class. Kana reveals that she wants to love humans as it is easier than hating them, and Toru agrees with her. Back at home, Kobayashi finds out that Kana had a great first day and decides to gift her with the keychain which Kana found at the store. Kana is happy, but Toru gets jealous and asks her for her gift, prompting Kobayashi to give her a can of soda. The next day, Quetzalcoatl and Fafnir have breakfast with the girls as an excuse to check up on Toru. Shortly after, Kana arrives with Riko, who is in tears, making Kobayashi question Kana. It turns out that Riko accidentally challenged a group of high school boys to a dodgeball game, and the loser stops playing in Riko's favorite playground. Toru and her friends decide to help them win as dragons, even though Kobayashi believes it is a bad idea. On the day of the challenge, Toru uses their power to decimate their competition and force them to run away. Guess you can call it Dragon Ball. You get it? Never mind. After the game ends, Kana, Toru, Quetzalcoatl, and Fafnir decide to have a Dragon Ball match. Last time, I promise, to determine who is superior. The dragons go all out and end up destroying the playground as Kobayashi looks on in surprise. At school, Kana becomes the most popular girl in school, and everyone starts to act like her, which causes the teachers to freak out. Toru gets better at her job as she starts to adjust to her new life, and she celebrates her success. However, she loses her temper and destroys the house after failing at laundry. Oh, it happens to the best of us. Later on, Toru decides to visit Kobayashi at work. She gets into the building without anyone noticing and spies on her. Toru gets angry after seeing Kobayashi spend time with Takia, but she admires the ability of humans to lend a helping hand. Moments later, Kobayashi's boss begins to yell at her for not helping with his work. This makes Toru very angry, and she trips him on his way back to his office. Serves him right. She discovers that everyone at work depends on Kobayashi, and she admires her work ethic. However, she gets angry once again after Kobayashi's boss yells at her again. Toru makes him trip multiple times, and Kobayashi figures out that she is responsible for her boss's misfortunes. After work, Kobayashi tricks Toru into revealing herself, and they walk home together as Kobayashi admits that her life has been wonderful since Toru moved in with her. I wish I had a dragon in my life. Later on, Toru goes to the shopping district where she meets Fafnir, spacing out, and she invites him home. Back at home, Fafnir reveals his intention to live in the human world, which surprises everyone, and Toru tries to talk him out of it. Fafnir decides to live in the woods after Kobayashi refuses to let him stay with them. However, this turns out to be a disaster after Fafnir reveals his dragon form to humans. Toru decides to help him find his own place and help him adjust to the human world. Despite Kobayashi's protest, Toru helps him create a new identity, but Fafnir believes she is becoming too attached to the human world and she would not be able to kill humans when she returns to her world, which is a good thing. Toru discloses that she has no intention of leaving this world, even after Kobayashi is no more, because this is her home now. They head to a real estate agency to rent a house for Fafnir, but they are unsuccessful due to the lack of money. Although I would take the gold all day, every day. Later that day, Toru questions why Fafnir wants to live in the human world, even though he hates it, and she deduces that he also has a human companion. It turns out to be Takia, as Fafnir is intrigued by video games, and Fafnir decides to move in with him. At night, Toru and Kana watch a TV, which shows a magician bending a spoon. Oh, wait till you see what I can do with a bottle. They are amazed by this and decide to perform the same trick, but they end up destroying all the spoons in the house. Not long after, Kobayashi finds out about their antics and rebukes them for bending all the spoons in the house. She shows them how the trick is done, but Toru believes Kobayashi possesses psychic powers and decides to gain such powers. Toru undergoes various training, including meditation and slaying a bear, but she is unable to bend the spoon, which worries her. Poor bear, all he wanted was some dragon meat. Kobayashi tries to find out why Toru cares so much about mastering a simple trick when she possesses the powers of a god. Toru confesses that she will not be outdone by her humans as they are inferior to her. However, Kobayashi sees through and figures out that Toru is just trying to understand more about the human world. She decides to teach Toru and tells her to focus on what she can do because she is special. Toru decides to use her power to teleport teleport to a magic show, confusing the audience and the magicians. After school, Riko asks Kana to follow her home, as she also has a maid who is eager to meet Toru. They should start an association or something. Afterward, Kana arrives at Riko's house with Kobayashi and Toru, which surprises Riko as she was not expecting Kobayashi. Soon after, they meet Georgie, and Kobayashi takes a liking to her, making Toru jealous. Georgie invites Toru into her room alongside Kobayashi, while Kana heads over to Riko's room for a play date. They play a game of Twister, but Kana gets bored and decides to play video games. Meanwhile, in Georgie's room, Kobayashi continues to bond with her because of their shared interests, and Toru starts feeling left out, which makes her sad. While they play video games, Kana confesses she wants a special bond with someone just like Toru and Kobayashi. This makes Riko happy, and she confesses her feelings for Kana. However, they are soon interrupted by Toru, who requests that they go home. On their way home, Toru discovers that Georgie is actually Riko's sister, and she is not a maid, but rather a maid fanatic. Later on, Riko wonders what would have happened if Toru hadn't interrupted, and Kana hilariously says, "the dragon style." Later that night, Kobayashi finds out that Quetzalcoatl also decides to stay on Earth in order to spend more time with Toru. She also reveals that she is living with a human just like Toru and asks if she would like to check it out. Quetzalcoatl confesses that she pretended to be summoned by a kid named Shouta and decided to live with him and his family of mages. They soon arrive at Quetzalcoatl's home, and Kobayashi asks what she is, as she is not a dragon. Quetzalcoatl discloses that she used to be a goddess, but she lost her divinity after she was banished. While they talk, Shouta comes home and confronts Quetzalcoatl about bringing more demons into the house to destroy his family. Very hot demons, I must say. She states that she is a dragon, but he does not believe her, and Toru asks him why he wanted to summon a demon. Shouta states that he wanted his parents to be proud of him, as they are powerful mages. Daddy drama, been there, done that. Quetzalcoatl tries to convince him to let her stay, but Shouta refuses, despite Quetzalcoatl offering to give him anything he wants in return. On their way back home, Kobayashi tells Toru that Shouta's father is her boss at work. Later that night, it starts to rain, and Toru wonders how Fafnir is faring in his new environment. Elsewhere, Fafnir bonds with Takia, and they play video games as Takia teaches him how to adjust to his new life. Fafnir plays games all day, and Takia finally convinces him to get out of the house as they attend an event. Meanwhile, Kana states that she does not like the rain as they have nothing to do, but Kobayashi manages to convince her with some indoor games. I hope you liked watching it. If this video is the most popular of our latest collection of recaps, we will make a part 3. Let us know what series you want us to recap next in the comments.